Sorry, live stream. Okay, so that's the books. The group went, they worked, they created many different articles that I have in here that I can share with everyone. Our website, gohwp.org, has more information on that as well. But ultimately, this story is about going beyond the conference. The story is about taking what you're learning from and what you're hearing from and the partnerships that you make and relationships you develop at this conference and building something more. We were able to do that and build out humanitarian work psychology and build out a community, the Global Organization for Humanitarian Work Psychology, that is really focused on developing that area. Now, that being said, humanitarian work psychology has grown over the years, and just as the original leadership intended, HWP isn't meant to own all of humanitarian work being done by IO psychologists. It's not meant to be the only group or area pushing IO psychology to be better. HWP and GoHWP are meant to be a force that works with other groups and a group of individuals that collaborate and work together to be better. From the foundation up, it's about making IO better and pushing us to make the world better. This slide here represents other groups and organizations that if you're interested in, you can get involved in. Obviously, on the upper left is Humanitarian Work Psychology, the global organization. If you're interested in taking that area and learning more about what I talked about today, please reach out to me or go to our website and get more involved. You'll be able to see a lot more of articles and research that a lot of what you all have talked about over the past 3 days and presented on these 3 days fall right into that realm and fall into being share that with our community members and be able to hopefully collaborate on other projects, whether it's SIOP internationally or SIOP South Africa or SIOP United States, whichever way you end up going. Project GLOW, Global Living Organizational Wage, is run by a professor and Dr. Stuart Carr. He is, in my opinion, the godfather. And for those of you that do know HWP, he's part of all the books. He's the godfather, in my opinion, of humanitarian work psychology. If you're interested in getting and doing better and doing more within IO psychology and looking at specific topics around global living wage, look up Project GLOW. He's based out of New Zealand and I believe Auckland, New Zealand. And so a little closer than the United States, but either way, it's still not that far away because of the internet. The next one is SIOP and the United Nations. So for those of you that don't know, SIOP has a working group that is focused on specifically working with the United Nations. And this is out of New York, so the United States side of the house. And this SIOP group has been tasked with, and former HWP and GoHWP members are a part of this, tasked with making the United Nations approach more IO-based and ultimately more humanistic with an understanding of how the workforce needs to be treated. And they really use and build on research that's being done similar to what you all have done in the equity and fair space that I've seen throughout, as well as diversity, as well as pushing the bounds of what we as IO psychologists know it and using research that's been based on humanitarian work psychology. The bottom left there, pillars of future of work and organizational psychology. This is a new one to me. So as I was doing research for this presentation, and one of my main goals, as you can tell, is to try and spread the post-conference world awareness of what can be done and how you can share what you all have done here and doesn't just go in a drawer. You can actually take it out and share with other people that'd be interested in either watching your video or your presentation or hearing about your paper. This group, like I said, is new to me, but Ishbel McWah, who is a founding member of GoHWP and is currently on the SIOP United Nations Committee, she pointed this group out to me. I went up and looked them up, and their website is www.futureofwop.com. And one of the key areas that they're working on that links to the second element of humanitarian work psychology around the process of making IO more humanitarian is the critical work in organizational psychology group. So this is a special group that ties into a lot of the HWP related work, but also a lot of the work that you all talked about throughout this 3-day conference. And finally, down on the bottom right, the pro-social subcommittee. So the pro-social subcommittee is focused on outreach and making IO, building the awareness of IO psychology. There's a lot of overlap with HWP and these other areas of what IO psychologists do, but their whole job, and for those that are interested in it, is really to build visibility about what IOs are doing in the pro-social space, which is essentially most of the papers that and work that you all have done at this conference. So I'm a little ahead of schedule, which, like I said, I know I'm between you and the weekend, so I wanted to move through this fairly quickly, but I also want to leave time for questions and time for reflection. What I tried to do today was show that all the work and time you all spent over the past 3 days, sharing your presentations, listening to other people's presentations, taking time to connect, taking time to learn, taking your time out of your workday to spend time and listen to other people, help make IO psychology and the world a better place, doesn't go away in vain and doesn't leave this conference. There's several other ways to take everything that's been done and all the good work and research that's been done and relationships and do more with it. The story of humanitarian work psychology and how we took it from a seed to where it is now is a great example of how continued efforts and a vision can make something happen and make the world a better place. So hopefully you all have been able to find your seed at this conference, and hopefully you all can stay connected with me, reach out, and we can find a way to make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. So I'm going to open it up to the floor. If anybody would like to post a question, you are welcome to post more chats as well. And while you're thinking about your questions, Jeff, I would like to say that the university that I'm involved with is the first university in South Africa that actually has a humanitarian work psychology module for our master's students.
Oh, that's great. Yep.
We're looking for ways to reconnect with or connect with our global partners in this regard as well. But I was just thinking, because obviously if you look at the history of the formation of this humanitarian work psychology as a field, it was pretty much disaster relief focused in the beginning, but it has evolved ever since it has been founded. I was just wondering, do you have some examples currently of how humanitarian work psychology practically look like connected to, for example, United Nations Sustainability Development Goals? How it's currently used to address those kind of things in this space?
Yeah, so great work that Stuart Carr is doing around living wage. So this is around living wage. It actually started in focusing on looking at specifically humanitarian aid work, and it was the double standard around international aid organizations were paying expats or people coming in more than they were paying local community members. And what this started creating was a divide between, they were doing the same job, but just because someone was local and someone was international, there became this differentiation of relationships or this conflict of relationships within the workplace. And they were finding that the outcomes and how people worked together, local and international, there was problems between the two. So Stu took this research and now it's been extrapolated and it's tied into that global organizational wages research, and it's gotten bigger, and they tie that research into work that's being done with the United Nations and other large corporations that are taking this IO-based research around better understanding what pay discrimination and pay scales can look like, how that can impact organizational outcomes. And so that's a really good example of work that's being done and research that's focused on that specific element of IO psychology.
Okay, thank you. I see one of the comments in the chat says the IOP Future Fit research identifies our impact in policy formulation as an opportunity. And we see a gap here in terms of the African Union. You want to comment on that?
I mean, I would say, wait, can you say it one more time?
Natasha, maybe you can explain a little bit more what you mean by your comment, and then Jeff can respond.
I agree with her.
Thank you so much, Crystal. So let me take it into the question that I had. First of all, thank you again for closing our Friday evening in South Africa on such a high note. So the opening of the conference, Dr. Emtius shared with us literally a purpose, that a personal calling that he had on his life, and that ultimately culminated in Gift of the Givers, which is a phenomenal organization, not just in South Africa. So I think it's so apt that we close on this note. The question that I had, so some IOP research that we did in the last 2 years, just around how we reinvent ourselves in the changing world of work. One of the areas that we found in how we should respond is talking exactly to this point that you're making, that we need to be more impactful, more influential in policy formulation. And I think the example you gave spoke very well into that. So that was what Crystal was alluding to. But I think the question that I had in the chat was, we can see through our research, and one of our award winners did exactly that, work in fair wages and fair pay, and is disseminating that and starting to have an impact. But in your view, yes, we can have this impact and we can do it through our research, but do you think that a movement like this, because I think it's a movement, it's a calling, and you feel it and you start doing things, and you use your platforms and you pull people together, should it always be formalized in a structure, in an organization? Or what advice would you give around that? And the opportunity there that I highlighted in the chat as well is, I'm not hearing any African countries in all the examples that you mentioned. I know the United Nations have African chapters, but we've got the African Union, and I'm not seeing us influencing policy at that level. So there could be an opportunity here.
Absolutely. And this is something that, within the Global Organization for Humanitarian Work Psychology and any of those other organizations I mentioned, there is a formulation of people coming together, but oftentimes also within that, it can lose steam when too many people come together and everyone thinks maybe someone else will do it. So I think the idea of having smaller chapters or chapters, and something we've discussed within the Global Organization of Humanitarian Work Psychology, is, to be fair, it's mostly, we have members from around the world, but it's still mostly United States, members from the United States. Over the years, we had a Uganda chapter. We've had chapters in a few other countries, but having chapters in places like South Africa has been part of our goals. To be fair, we made a big push right before COVID, or we put together a plan to have a big push for chapters, but COVID really slowed that down, or stopped that, I should say. So a vision of moving forward is, I do think having these community groups or these chapters or whatever you want to call them from around the world really would help bring better research into to better understanding what's happening in the humanitarian world, and bringing some of that research back to the corporate world and vice versa. We can take stories and work that's happening in South Africa and help promote and show the ways that we've worked with the United Nations here in the United States and our team, and then show how that groups can work within the South African Union and do similar processes and find similar ways to work together. Also, it can bring ways of working for better understanding the global world that we live in and shared experiences.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm just picking up in the questions. There was somebody also posted the question, what is the poverty of psychology?
So not to make light of poverty, obviously, but one of the things that Stuart Carr and I were talking about when I went over to do my PhD there was looking at, he said, I'm an expert in the psychology of poverty. And he was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Like, psychology of poverty. No, it's around poverty reduction and how we can take IO psychology and help support and reduce poverty around the world, and what aspects we have in our toolbox to help make that happen.
Thank you, Jeff. I see there's lots of thank you, well done, excellent presentation notes in the chat. So undoubtedly you struck a chord that ties in with the theme of the conference. And you said a couple of very important things. You've mentioned that a lot of organizations do things that they think should be done instead of negotiating or discussing with the stakeholders involved. And I think that's very important when we want to use our profession for the greater good is that we must listen and we must engage with the larger stakeholder group. It's not about what we want, it's about the need that's out there and the best way of addressing that. And often I've read obviously a lot of literature in this space, and I know a lot of people, they've lost faith in the humanitarian movement, because they say, it's just other people that's driving their own agenda. They're not necessarily empowering the local community. And if you really want to be successful, you have to empower and include the local community as the number one stakeholder in this game. So thank you very much for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone. I hope everyone has a great weekend and enjoyed the conference. Thank you very much. We are going to close now, and we're going to say thank you and celebrate, and I hope you also have a good day, and until next year. All right, great. Thank you all. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
Oh, my connectivity keeps dropping.
Okay, I guess this is it then. What a nice and powerful way to close the conference, to just tie it all together. And we have these vehicles and platforms in South Africa already where we can just actually get involved with. We have SIOPSA, we have universities, we have industries, we have the Gift of the Givers, we have a number of exciting organizations who already work in this space. They need volunteers, they need people to get connected, they need us to share our time and our expertise. And as I've posed the question to you right in the beginning, what are you going to do to use your skills and your expertise to make the world a better place? No one can tell me that they can't share one single thing. They don't have the time, they don't know how, they don't have the skills. Get off your sofas and get involved. That is the invitation. SIOPSA needs to grow. We need you to join SIOPSA and to participate and help us to build not only our profession, but also really to make the world a better place for all South Africans. Thank you for a fantastic conference, and I would really like the EXCO team and the support team to quickly all show your faces, because really without this team, this conference would not have been possible. I cannot tell you, I was also not really aware of how much things going on behind the scenes. If you're the president, you have privy to very few. You can't just sit back and listen to the one presentation after the other, because there's so much problem solving happen behind the scene, but that's fine. I do that with love. So to my team, I thank you very, very much for a fantastic running. I mean, this is my last speech as president of SIOPSA, and it has been a very meaningful and a fantastic year for me. There were times that I doubted myself, that I really didn't think, I've got much to show for it. But at the end, it's not an individual effort, it's a collective effort. And, going through the annual report gives you a lot of food for thought and actually shows you how active we have been. But it's just because we have a fantastic team. And if that's not enough reason for you all to sign your membership forms tomorrow morning, then I don't know what is. So I hope that you've enjoyed the conference with us. I hope that you can see that SIOPSA is listening to you and that we're really serious about what we're doing. We're not just talking, we're also walking the talk. Until next year.
Crystal, before
show yourself. Beatrice?
Yeah, so before we actually close, so I would just like to give a special mention to the following. So as Crystal mentioned, behind the scenes, although I am sort of like the face of the conference, I am by no means the most important person in the conference team. So I would like to mention the following people by name. And if you are on this call, maybe just switch on your cameras. So these are the individuals that helped when there were some technical problems. We sometimes got some interesting messages, and we tried our best to resolve the issues as quickly as possible. So I would like to say thank you to the following people in no particular order: Amalia, Nicole, Kotso, Bianca, Nontriza, Sherwin, Riabetswe, Riku, and Marili. They were the technical assistants for this particular conference, and I am forever in your debt. This is the dark joke that is happening in the background. You can join me in the corner. So those are the individuals that help with the technical issues. Then a big thank you to Ben. So Ben was our go-to person whenever we had some interesting things happen with the Wova and Zoom. So Ben, thank you very much for, again, just helping us with your expertise. Then to Simona and Brittany, thank you for helping with the abstracts and for organizing the amazing race and dealing with the leaderboard. I'll say something about that now. And then lastly, to the other group members of the conference team, Jan Hendrik, thank you for the chair. Kirsty, Marissa, and Lungelo, thank you for making it fun. And I think I have actually mentioned all the people that were working very hard behind the scenes for this conference. So thank you very much. So Sharon, when you are done, I just need to then actually also announce the winners of the amazing race, but the last few words are yours before I announce the winners of the amazing race and just something about the recordings. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Petrus, and a very good afternoon, colleagues. We are here at the end of day 3. What a phenomenal conference. I am incredibly privileged, to have been part of this engagement, and even more so by joining virtually. It's just enabled us to connect with people. I think of Kim Lee, who is traveling all over Europe, but was committed to come and present. I think of people who are ill. We had someone in the audience saying the virtual conference gave them an opportunity to plug in, even from their sickbed. And for me, it's an affirmation that the work we're doing is important. The work matters. And we are striving towards one SIOPSA. And a very big thank you to Crystal. Your heart, your commitment, your love for the profession, it really shines through, and you can stand proud for the work that you did. This was an amazing conference. Thank you, Petrus. Thank you to the office team, Marissa, Jan Hendrik, Lungelo, our support team in tech, and we were calling and saying, we're not in the session yet. What's going on? And things carried on. Kirsty, cool, calm, and collected. I sent her a message at 6:30, I think, asking for a link. And just the willingness of colleagues to say, we're here, we're doing this. So that is the heart of serving. We are furthering the profession in our different ways. And really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you for making this conference. And may we make SIOPSA great again. And over to you, Petrus.
Thanks, Sharon. So I'm not quite sure if I will literally have the last few words, although that was sort of like a one of the dark jokes on the WhatsApp group in any case. So first, let's get some of the formalities out of the way. So some of the delegates, and I'm just checking my cell phone here. So some of the delegates participated in the amazing race, and it is now my honor and privilege to announce the 3 winners for the amazing race. So they are Kristen David, Hawa Karim, and Ronald Aberet. So Kristen, Hawa, and Ronald, congratulations. Me with my dark sense of humor, the check is in the mail, not really, but Marissa will be in contact with you soon regarding the prizes that you have won. So congratulations to the 3 delegates. And then just 2 final things from my side. Please don't forget to complete the relevant surveys. So for the survey for day 1, the survey for day 2, and the survey for day 3. So please make sure that you complete them. Also, if you've attended this, the ethics session hosted by Sharon, please make sure that you complete that as well. So regarding, and this is literally the last few things that I'm going to say. So please just bear with us as the conference team. We will be uploading the different recordings onto Wova. So please just give us the weekend to do that. So that requires some heavy lifting. So please just bear with us. So we will upload the recordings on Wova. And then we just need to check a few settings on Wova to make sure that if individuals access those access those recordings, that we can still see that you have actually watched them. So with that being said, during the course of next week, we will communicate additional information, but we will, if you have not been able to attend a particular session due to load shedding, you will be able to watch that session that you've missed still on the Wova platform, but this time looking or watching the recording. So if I'm not mistaken, we will allow that sort of like privilege for the whole of next week. Although the recordings of the conference will be available, Marissa, just double check and tell me if I'm wrong. The recordings will be available for at least 60 days. But that does not mean you've got 60 days to watch everything and get your full points. No. This sort of like accommodation is only for this week or this coming week. So if you've missed a session due to load shedding, you will then be accommodated accordingly. And that's it. Marissa, did I miss something? Marissa, your hand is raised. Well, it seems like I got the thumbs up. And so, no thumbs up, not yet. Hang on, it seems like... there's either music going to be played or something's going to happen now.
You must just announce the leaderboard winners, please.
Oh,
it's on your WhatsApp.
Okay, my apologies, everyone. I just saw this message and I said, hang on, what's this? Okay, so here's another drum roll. And now I need to check everything. So Marissa, let me just quickly see. Can I only name the name? Why is it only the seven people on this list? No, or the first three?
First three, please.
And I don't want to sound like something that will happen almost like at the Academy Awards, and then people say, no, it's the wrong envelope. It's this envelope with Xavier Prince that took first place on the leaderboard for on Wova. So well done, Xavier. Then Mornay Bester was second in terms of the leaderboard. And now everything just went black on my screen. And then, and I don't want to say it, meaning, but Natasha, you had some interesting sort of like, we're rooting for you. So Natasha is third. So well done to the three winners on our leaderboard. So well done, everyone.
I just want to say I'm the oldest on that list. So
no,
it says something about the elders there. I challenge the other elders next year.
Obviously, you were not organizing the conference. You had time.
Let's not go there.
So well done on all the winners. And just one last sort of like useless bit of information. I think on the first day of the conference, I got this message from Wova informing me I've actually completed the shark level, and I'm still trying to figure out what level did I complete. I'm not even sure. But yeah, thanks everyone. Sharon, over to you.
So just a comment. So it was said in jest that let's make PSYOPSA great again. It's in no way endorsing Donald Trump. So I just wanted to clarify that. I think some people made an association with Donald Trump. Please, no, 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 no. It was really just in the spirit of, can we get back to being proud of our society? I think we've been through a turbulent number of years. Some of our members left. Some people were grumbling about the transformation agenda. So we are just back here saying, you know what, let's make this association ours. Let's be proud of what we're doing. I think the conference is testament of the beautiful work that people are doing in their different sections. So apologies to anyone who was offended by that jest that I made about making it great. Thanks, Petrus.
So
Just one
colleagues,
question. So is the person who on my WhatsApp supposed to be co-host, is the DJ in the house?
Everything's good, yes.
Okay, so then Marissa and is it Marilee?
Marilee?
Marilee. So over to you. So Marissa, you take the lead and then introduce whatever's going to happen now.
Just have a blast, sing with us, and thank you all for being here.
grab your champagne, your glass of wine, your snacks. Let's party.
Okay, it's supposed to play.
Don't worry, Marilee, it's trying to access over.
Yeah, clearly.
Hi, circle. Oh, 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 yes. Don't let go on. We're taking out stronger. Don't let it be so long.
If I'm not mistaken, this song is what, Stronger Together? So it seems like
Better together.
yeah, Stronger
Better
Together.
together.
Better Together.
Better together. Once I observe, better together.
The sound is
So the
not
sound
great.
is a bit challenging, everyone.
Let's try again, Marilee.
Marilee, let's try
I'll
again.
try from my side.
Marissa, just share your computer audio, not the video.
And the others should just mute their microphones.
We are so excited for this song. It was so spot on. Okay.
You ready? Oh, 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 yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Don't have to win that goal on your own.
Apologies, I heard the sound was horrible in the first try.
No worries. No worries. So yeah, so thanks everyone. And well, I'm not quite sure who danced, but there's still some opportunity for those of you who would like to show some of your dance moves. And we are actually being recorded. So now we need to be careful what's going to happen next. So well done, everyone. Congratulations on an excellent conference. Thank you to all the delegates that have made it pleasurable and enjoyable. And to everyone from Exco through to members, through to the delegates, as well as the different keynotes. Thanks again, and we will see you all next year. Thanks, everyone.
And Petrus, you've been the perfect conference host. I cannot tell people how invaluable you are as a human being, as a colleague, as a friend, and just your ability and your calmness to sort out problems. I'm forever indebted to you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And I had some good coaching. So this is now sort of like some of the jokes in the group. I was coached by a well-prepared professional. I want to thank him personally. And so yeah, so I'll see him in the corner now. So yeah, so thank you kindly, but thanks for entrusting this important sort of like job. It was enjoyable to do. I had an excellent team, and from the beginning it was just great fun. And well, we laughed, we cried, we even had some teary eyes, but those were some of the memes that we shared. So yeah, so thanks everyone, that was great. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. And it's a wrap until next
That's
year.
a wrap. Thanks everyone. Take care.
All yours, Sharon. All yours.
Thanks,
Everyone is welcome to come and serve.
Welcome, Sharon.
Get it for now.
Welcome.
Thank you,
I think
everyone.
it's your round, 'cause you're my mate.
You see the message, Petrus, from Lungi.
My mate, and I will stand by you, and in the face of things that could hurt you, you're my mate.
Evaluation form for
Will
today.
stand by you, 'cause you're my mate, and I will stand by you, you're my mate, and I will stand by you, and in the face of things that could hurt you, you're my mate, and I will stand by you, 'cause you're my mate. I'll tell you what I think. I think he's a pain. He ain't got a car, but he drives you insane. Let's go for a drink and sink a few. Enough about him, let's talk about you, 'cause you're my mate, and I will stand by you. You're my mate, and I will stand by you, 'cause you're my mate, and I will stand by you. You're my mate, and I will stand by you, and in the face of things that could hurt you, you're my mate, and I will stand by you, 'cause you're my mate. All I wanna do is get drunk here with you.
Yeah.
Wanna do is get drunk here with you.
Always.
Wanna do is get drunk here with you. All I wanna do is get drunk here with you. 'Cause you're my mate, and I will stand by you. You're my mate, and I will stand by you. And in the face of things that could hurt you, you're my mate, and I will stand by you. 'Cause you're my mate, and I will stand by you. You're my mate, and I will stand by you. And in the face of things that could hurt you, you're my mate, and I 'cause you're my mate. 'Cause you're my mate. Taxi!
Okay, well,
We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city on rock and roll. Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla.
Luangile's message on the chat saying he's too young.
Be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently.
Ben, where are you dialing in from? That background looks so interesting.
This is my home office.
Ah, I thought you're like in a studio. I'm like, look at you, Ben, all fancy. Dialing in
Like
from
a
a studio. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Great deal.
Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up. For the champions, for the champions, stand up. For the champions, for the champions, stand up. Stand up, stand up. For the champions, for the champions, stand up. For the champions, for the champions, stand up. Stand.
Ah, that's fantastic, Jan Hendrik. Tell us the numbers. What are the numbers? We need to do a bell. Ding, 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 ding. Woo-hoo!
Thanks for
Come
listening,
on, Jan
everybody.
So just one, well,
We're
this
still
will be
live
the-
on YouTube.
Are we
Sorry.
still live
Oh.
on YouTube?
Yes. Just
Okay.
letting
Goodbye,
you know
YouTube.
in case.
So can we stop the live stream?